Good day, everyone. We are Group 5, and today we'll be presenting Chapter 5 of Ethics in Information Technology, which focuses on freedom of expression. This chapter explores how freedom of speech connects to technology. It begins with online reputation management, showing how business protect themselves from negative posts, and then moves into the First Amendment, which guarantees freedom of speech, but also reminds us that not all speech is protected. We'll also encounter landmark cases that shape obscenity and speech law, along with practical issues such as defamation, anonymity, censorship, child protection laws, slap lawsuits, and platform responsibilities. Each of these topics has its own story, examples, and ethical dilemmas. Rather than explaining them all here, each will be discussed in detail by the next reporters. So, let's dive in and see how freedom of expression plays out in the world of technology.
Morning everyone, I'm Jairus R&D Ferrer from BSIT WAMAD 3A. Today we're looking at online reputation management. In a world where every consumer researches a business before they buy, your Google search results are your first impressions. And negative posts, whenever from disgruntled ex-employees or aggressive competitors, can destroy a brand's value overnight. To solve this or to combat this, online online reputation management firms like Reputation Changer utilize a three strategy. First one strategy is monitoring. Monitoring can perform continuous web scans across social media, blogs, and forums to identify harmful mention in real life. And second is content creation. Content creations is they don't just delete the bad, they build the good by publishing positive press, reviews, and blogs. They create a shield of positive information. And lastly, the third is CEO management. This is the technical engine. They optimize they optimize that positive content so it outranks the negative, pushing harmful items off the first page of search results. As a proof of concept, look at Reputation Changer. Found in 2009, they scaled to over 100 employees and 10, $10 million in revenue. Their client their client base isn't just individuals. It includes Fortune 500 firms and high-profile politicians who understand that if you aren't managing your reputation, someone else is. And thank you. Next reporter, please.
This presentation explains how the First Amendment applies to the Internet and Information Technology. So, the First Amendment protects freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. Online, this, allow, this allows people to share ideas, opinion, and even unpopular views, often anonymously. However, free speech is not unlimited. In Miller v. California, 1973, the Supreme Court created a three-part test to determine when speech is considered obscene and not protected. First, content is judged using standards, meaning it depends on what the average person in a specific community considers offensive. Second, if the material creates high concern by appealing to prurient interests or being clearly offensive, it raises illegal issues. So third, high specificity. means the content explicitly shows or describes sexual conduct. And finally, if the material lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value, it receives law protection under the First Amendment. So, in short, the more explicit and offensive the content is based on community standards, the less constitutional protection it has, even in the digital age.
Defamation and IT ethics. Defamation is a full factual statement harming another reputation. Slander is oral, libel is written. Truth is an absolute defense. Defamation can damage careers, finances, and political prospects. Organization must monitor and respond to libelous attacks online to protect stakeholders. In IT ethics, people and organization must communicate responsibly online because claims can cause serious legal and reputational damage, like the case of BPI versus ABC in 2012. Beef products sued ABC for $1.2 billion over pink slime, reports claiming reputational and sales harms. ABC argued public interest reporting and free speech protection. Ethical reminder: Op- opinions are protected, but false factual claim risk defamation liability. Online communication requires caution. Controlling access for minors, laws and debates. Protecting children, online risk restriction, adult rights. Approaches include government laws and software solution, parental controls and filtering. This ethical dilemma balance free speech with child protection and avoid overbroad restriction that lack restriction and legitimate educational or civil rights content. This topic explains how children are protected from harmful online content through government laws and parental control technologies. However, these protections can sometimes limit adults' rights and freedom of speech. The debate focuses on finding a fair balance between child safety and access to legitimate information. Software and ISPs filters. URL, keyword, and dynamic content filtering used by parents, schools, and ISPs. Software and ISPs filters block websites, keywords, or certain types of online content to protect minor. Parent, school, and internet service provide commonly used these tools. While effective, they may accidentally block useful or educational content. Ethical concerns. Filter can overblock transfer power to private companies and deepen digital divides if funding tied to compliance.
Today, I will talk about three laws that were made to protect children online and how they relate to freedom of speech. First, the Communication Decency Act of 1998 tried to make it illegal to post incident content online where kids could see it. But the Supreme Court said the law was too broad and went against free speech rights, so most of it was removed. Next, the Child Online Protection Act of 1998 tried to stop minors from seeing harmful content on commercial websites. However, the court also ruled this law unconstitutional because it could limit adults' rights to view legal content. It was never fully used. Then, the Children Internet Protection Act of 2000 required the school and libraries that receive federal money to use internet shelter. This law was approved by the Supreme Court because it could connect the rules to government funding instead of criminal punishment. The second topic is Internet Censorship and SLAPP. Internet censorship means blocking or removing online content. SLAPP or lawsuit means to scare or silence people who speak out, often by making them spend a lot of money on legal fees. Overall, this law showed how difficult it is to protect children while also protecting freedom of speech online.
Ang topic natin ay tungkol sa anonymity, John Doe, lawsuits, and doxing, hate speech, pornography, and can spam at workplace risks. Una, ang anonymity, magiging anonymous online ay nagbibigay protection sa privacy at sa mga whistleblowers, pero maaari rin itong magamit sa paninira, illegal na gawain, at dito pumapasok ang John Doe lawsuits, kung saan maaaring hilingin ng korte na tukuyin ang isang anonymous na tao kung may kaso tulad ng libel o copyright violation. Ang doxing naman ay ang paglalabas ng pribadong impormasyon ng isang tao online nang walang pahintulot na maaaring magdulot ng harassment at panganib. Pagdating sa hate speech at pornography, may limitasyon ang freedom of speech lalo na kung may kasamang threats o harassment sa workplace. Ang pag-access ng inappropriate content ay maaaring magdulot ng legal at disciplinary issues. Sa ilalim ng Ken Spam Act, may mga batas laban sa mapanlinlang na email at spam, at dapat may malinaw na opt-out option ang mga ito.